We live in a feminine society. Most of us were convinced by modern media that if we act feminine, we will have a better life. We were convinced that if we gave up our masculine birthright to be a real man and became more in touch with our feminine side, we would be popular in our social circle and girls would like us more. But now we are slowly realizing that this evil conditioning we went through is going to lead us astray, and we want to reclaim this birthright again. Are you a masculine man? Over 10% of Gen Z males consider themselves to be very feminine because lately it has become really popular to be a feminine man. And you might think that now it's not as popular, that now it's more popular to be masculine again, but that's just because you are in the space of masculinity and self-improvement. So you have a clouded worldview. If you were to watch some of the mainstream media, which you don't, right? You'd realize that it's still very popular to be feminine. And most men nowadays don't even know the difference between masculine and feminine energy, so you might be feminine and don't even realize it. Most guys never thought about this, so they don't even know. Most guys don't even analyze themselves to know how masculine or feminine they are. What you need to understand is that if you are feminine, you will never be able to dominate a woman. She will dominate you. In every romantic relationship, there is a dominant one and there is a submissive one. It always goes like that. And some men don't mind getting dominated by women. Some men like it. And if that's you, you can click off this video because it won't be helpful for you, because I talk about masculinity here. In every relationship, there has to be some polarity between masculine and feminine energy, which means that if you are acting feminine, she is forced to take on the masculine role and dominate you. She will be in charge, and you'll be the little boy she is looking after. And when this happens, you will never be able to dominate her like some other guy might. Usually, when I explain it like this, being feminine means being submissive, and being masculine means being dominant. Guys who haven't been totally brainwashed by the system understand, and they want to get more masculine. Obviously, some guys won't. Some guys are just too far gone, and there most likely are some watching, thinking I am a misogynist and whatever. If you check the comments, there most likely is someone like that. But most young men understand, and suddenly it starts making sense to them, and they ask, okay, my new goal is to become more masculine. How do we do that? And those are the guys I want to help improve. But first of all, why are so many men so feminine nowadays? Well, take a look around. Look at the media, look at Hollywood, and look at the feminization of the school system. You are forced to sit still for fucking 8 hours a day, listening to some stupid obese feminist teacher who literally doesn't even know how to teach. I know this is a side tangent, but some teachers really shouldn't be teaching. When I remember some of the teachers I had growing up telling us life advice, it was either completely retarded or super outdated. I think teachers should go through some tests every year to see if they are still okay to teach young kids. But if that were to be implemented, most teachers would get fired. Anyway, back to the video. The reason you are so feminine is because, for most of your life, you were punished for being a boy. When you displayed some natural masculine traits, they were negatively reinforced. When you were play fighting with your boys, pushing each other around, the fucking obese feminist teachers would scream at you to stop so you don't hurt yourself. And I truly think it's not really even the teacher's fault. They went through the same conditioning as we did, and so they don't know better. There is a much deeper and scarier reason why this is happening. It's the system that has been consciously designed to make us more feminine, because the only way you can actually succeed in school is by being submissive and feminine. The ultra-masculine boys would get detention, and you might think, well, yeah, but those were bad people, right? Well, they needed our help. The ultra-masculine men are in jail, and you might say, well, yeah, it's because they are criminals, but they needed our help. They needed masculine guidance to develop the healthy parts of their masculinity that would create a life for them where they didn't need to lash out. But you want to know the real reason so many men are feminine these days? Well, because we live in the good times. We've been in the good times for a while. It's safe for a lot of men to just exist doing basically nothing, because they have all their needs met. They don't need to work hard to get a feeling of accomplishment. They can do that in a video game where it's much easier. They don't need to try to get more attractive to attract a woman. They have porn. We've been living in the good times for a while, and that's why we are seeing the rise of weak people getting a voice. That was never a thing before, because in order to have an opinion back then, you needed to be able to fight for it. During the hard times, weak people didn't deserve to have a voice. But since we have really good times, and there is no war in the West, like specifically in the West, in the home territory, you know, There will always be some war somewhere, because there are certain people who need to make money, but I'd rather not get into that. Since there is no war in the West, they might as well give the dickhead with the low testosterone a voice so he can shout about toxic masculinity and some other bullshit. People like that who convince you to be a little bitch are doing that only because they are safe to do so, because the good times are still here, but they are coming to an end. In countries that are considered first world countries, people are cold and hungry. The average person with average pay is not able to afford basic things like heating in their house or groceries. So what you need to understand is that the good times are coming to an end. And since this is starting to happen, masculine men are getting respected again. It's not a coincidence that people like Andrew Tate, Hamza, and David Goggins have had such a huge rise in success in the past couple of years. Masculine men are becoming more popular because that's what the world needs. If this message was talked about like 20 years ago, these guys would be nowhere near as popular as they are today. Back then, the things they talked about were obvious. And now, even on my videos, I am seeing comments every day saying how valuable this is, and I have only a few subscribers compared to them. So we really need more hard-working masculine strong men. The tides are changing. Young men are actually waking up. We are realizing what it means to be a real man and that it's very needed in this modern day. We realize that the conditioning telling us that being feminine and submissive led us to want to kill ourselves. We realize that there is some evil propaganda out there that wants us weak. You know, I recently Googled how can I stop being toxically masculine so that I can see what the other side is saying as well, so I can challenge my beliefs a bit, and the answer is honestly disgusting. Step number 1. Stop trying to be more masculine. Okay, so that just completely eliminates the fact that there is a difference between toxic masculinity and normal masculinity. Okay, all masculinity is just toxic apparently. Step 2. Learn to be vulnerable. So become an emotional man. Even though an emotional man is the worst thing there can be, an emotional man can't control himself, and therefore he is dangerous. An emotional man will go and do the things they consider toxically masculine. An emotional man will go and shoot up the school. A truly masculine man will never do that. So this advice is only going to lead to more of the thing they call toxic masculinity. And step number 3. Educate others. So make sure more people are like this. Spread the disease. And step number 4. Intervene when you see it. So when you see someone being masculine, you should go and annoy them. Nice. This is fucking disgusting. They want men weak. They want to destroy the world, but we are finally waking up, and that's good. We are realizing that taking the advice to be more emotional and vulnerable is fucking evil. We are realizing that we need to do the absolute opposite of this and start striving to be more masculine. And the world will thank us for this, not just yet. We will get demonized and punished for this now because the good times are still here, and people don't realize they are ending. And when they end, we will be needed. That's when people will start looking up to us again, because we are the only thing that will be able to save them. When these big countries start to suffer, masculine men will be needed. Masculine men will be celebrated again just a few months after they wanted to cancel us all. Because these people don't realize that the reason they have the things they have is because of strong masculine men. Masculine men are the foundation of the world. And so you need to start actively being more masculine. And how do we do that? It's really not that difficult to be more masculine. It's just that there is so much bullshit advice out there, and young men get confused. For example, when you ask Google how to be more masculine, they will tell you to be more emotional. So we don't want to do that. Becoming more emotional is feminine. The way to becoming more masculine is to devalue your emotions. You know, you still want to have some emotions. I think every man should still have some feminine energy in him, because what matters here is the split between how much masculine energy you have and how much feminine energy you have. Most people nowadays have like a 50-50 split, but what I find is that the men who feel truly masculine and fulfilled have like an 80-20 split. The majority of them is masculine, but they keep some feminine traits, and that's not a bad thing. Even I have some feminine energy, and I wouldn't change that, because the amount that I have is very helpful. I've said it with intention. For example, the work that I do requires some feminine energy. I have to use empathy to understand what you are going through so that I can help you. Or for example, I still do gratitude journaling, even though gratitude is an emotion, and emotions are feminine. So having some emotions is good, some feminine energy is good, but you don't want a surplus of it. You don't want to be an emotional man. And so the way to be more masculine is to start devaluing your emotions. And this is gonna sound crazy because almost no one in the modern world will tell you this. You need to devalue love and joy. Love and joy are kind of the two things the modern media tries to push upon you, saying they are the most important things for a human, but they are not. not for a masculine man. The most important thing is the mission. Happiness is just a fleeting emotion. It's a nice emotion, but we don't rely on it. We'd like to feel good if we could, but if we don't, we are still gonna conquer the mission. Masculinity is being able to do things even though you don't feel like doing them. Trying to prioritize happiness is only gonna keep you fleeting to porn, junk food, video games, drugs, and other instant gratification activities. Masculine men are like rocks. They don't budge easily. You need to devalue those feel-good emotions that the modern world is telling you are the most important ones. And instead, you need to start valuing goals. What's your goal right now? Maybe it's to finish watching this video to have a good understanding of masculine and feminine energy. Then maybe the goal will be to go hit a workout. And after you do that one, there will be another goal. That's what makes a man happy. And so by doing this, we can save the world. We are not just doing this for ourselves anymore. This is how we save the world, by becoming stronger men. If you want to have an online brotherhood of strong masculine men just like you, make sure to join the Wisdom Clan. Go click on the subscribe button, share this video with a friend who needs to hear it, and go do something productive now. Go conquer the next goal. Bye.